we've got the greatest country in the history of the world, and we can't solve our problems, then there's something wrong with us. And there isn't anything wrong with us. We're strong people. We're talented people. People in New Hampshire, we've got just like one of the best economies in the country. You know why you have one of the best economies in the country? Because you have no taxes. I mean, you have a few here and there. I don't want to. But you don't have that thing called an income tax, right? You don't even have a sales tax. In New York City, I couldn't even count the number of taxes we had. You know, when I was the mayor, I lowered 23 different taxes. And I'm not even sure I touched half of them by doing that. But I lowered taxes more than any mayor in the history of the city. I lowered them by about 25, 26% overall. And here's the thing that we proved, that you know in New Hampshire, but Washington doesn't know this. Or at least the Democrats in Washington don't know. We were collecting more money from the lower taxes than we were collecting from the higher taxes. Now, how can that be? And this is why I believe that I am the strongest fiscal conservative in this race for the presidency. I think I've practiced it much more than any of my good friends who are running. I took over a city with a $2.3 billion deficit. We cut taxes, as I said, 23 times, to the tune of about $9 billion, and we ended up with a $3 billion surplus, because we were collecting more money from the lower taxes than from the higher taxes. And what Washington needs so that we can continue to grow is somebody who can cut spending, get the federal government under control, once again give it fiscal discipline, and then find ways to lower taxes so we put money back into your pockets because you'll spend it in a much smarter way than the federal government will spend it. Yes. And then there are a lot of other reasons why I think this is a country that has to be kind of geared toward growth. We've got to give people more choice. The answer to health care is more choice. More choice for people. A bigger market. Greater consumer power. That's also the answer for education. More choice. More power to people, to parents. They make it more of a consumer-based education system where parents have the power to decide what schools their children go to. I mean, those are the ideas that we're going to have to fight for if we want them to continue to be at the core of America. Because every one of the ideas I just mentioned to you, the Democrats disagree with, and they're going to reverse. And what's their model of how our economy and our society should kind of operate? I think their model is kind of like continental Europe. They want us to be like another France or maybe another Germany, or with universal government-controlled health insurance. Is that a good idea? What would happen? What would happen if we had universal government-controlled health insurance?
Everybody would get mediocre health care.
Everybody would get health care like in Germany, like in France, like in England. Did you ever get anybody that asked you to help them get into a French, German hospital? I have people that ask me for help with prostate cancer, because also in my book I wrote about that. And I really like to help people like that, because I got a lot of help when I had prostate cancer. I get lots of requests to get into programs in America, in Massachusetts, in New York, in Minnesota, in Maryland, in Los Angeles, in Houston, Texas, MD Anderson. When you think of all these great hospitals we have, all throughout the country. Lots of people want to get into those hospitals. Lots of people in America want to get into those hospitals. Lots of people overseas in Europe want to come to our hospitals. I never yet, in 5 or 6 years of doing this, got a single call for anybody to ask me, can you get me into a German hospital? Can you get me into, I don't want to pick on just German hospitals, a French hospital, an Italian hospital, a Canadian hospital, a hospital in a system that has government-controlled health care. They all want to come here because we have the best health care in the world with problems. So let's fix the problems, not ruin the system. And to do that, we need a Republican president, and we need a strong one who knows how to get things done. And I also think in this race, I'm the candidate who has gotten the most things done. point, and then we'll take your questions. We are at war, and we're going to be at war no matter what happens in Iraq, unless there's a miracle of some kind. We're going to be at war the next year, and the year after, and the year after that, and the year after that. And we're going to be at war because there are people organized in this movement, this Islamic extremist, terrorist movement, however you want to describe it. But you've got to describe it honestly. If you don't face your problems honestly, it's very, very dangerous in a world in which there are people that want to come here and kill you. Not only people that want to come here and kill you, people that have come here and killed us. Tom mentioned September 11th. That isn't the first time they came here and attacked us. They attacked us way back in '93. So, we're at war not because we want to be. America is not a warlike country. America doesn't like war. We don't like this war any more than we like the Vietnam War, or the Korean War, or the Second World War. We didn't want to get into the Second World War. We probably waited too long to get into the Second World War. But we're not a warlike people. We're people that want peace. We want tranquility and peace and decency. Here's what Americans are all about. Rather than being warlike, Americans want to sell you something. We got something to sell you. We got a product, we have a technology, we got a business, we got something that we want to sell you. We don't want to sell you something, we want to buy you. We want to do business with people. We're a commercial nation. We have been from the beginning, we are now, that's our great strength. But when people want to come here and kill us, we have to be on offense. And we have to remain on offense against terrorists, and Democrats will take us back to defense. They proved that last week. Right. I have never heard in the history of war, I've never heard, maybe somebody can come up with an example where this worked. I've never heard in the history of war announcing to your enemy and handing them a schedule of your retreat. Does it make any sense, if you're going to retreat, to say, we'll retreat according to this schedule, let me hand you the schedule. First we'll take out so many, then so many, then so many, and then we're going to run away completely. Makes no sense for a retreating army to hand out a schedule of that retreat. The only place it makes sense, the only possible place it could possibly make sense, is in Washington, D.C., where not very much makes sense. So we also need somebody in Washington that knows how to make sense, and that knows how to keep us on offense, and understands that the stakes in Iraq are very high, but it's not just about Iraq, it's also about Iran and Syria and Pakistan and Afghanistan and lots of other places. So, in order to do that, I need your support. I hope we can get it, and now I would love to take your questions. Thank you very, very much.